This is Unpivot, the show for Excel and Power BI fans and anyone who loves chatting about data. I'm Wyn Hopkins.
I'm Giles Mail.
I'm Mark Proctor.
I'm Deb Ashby.
I'm Leila Gharani.
Yay!
Leila Gharani.
That's not Giles Mail, that's the humble MVP.
Oh my God, I just saw what you have on.
Oh,
I'm layered.
Is that printed jacket? For the podcast listeners, you've got to describe it, please, Giles.
This is I stole some of the children's t-shirts, so I've got my own I Love Leila Gharani t-shirt now, as well as a flag. It's great.
looking a bit like a
Lucky
stalker.
So if I ever go on a date now and a lady says, "Have you got any red flags, Giles?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I've got one actually. It's got somebody else's face on it."
Bit of a concern. Yes.
That's going to be the last time you talk to them. But
Yeah.
Welcome, folks. Welcome, Deb. Welcome back.
Hello. Hi.
And welcome, Leila. Welcome to the
Thank
podcast. How is everybody? Are we all well? Everybody's
Amazing.
good?
Yes.
Amazing.
Good. Leila, are you a podcast listener? Do you listen to
I
various
have
podcasts?
listened to, you mean generally a podcast
Generally,
listener? Or
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah.
assume that you listen to us, this nonsense.
No,
You've
I
got
do.
better
I
things to
do.
No,
I
just
do.
generally.
One thing I wasn't sure, and I asked Giles, I was like, is this live or not? But because it looks live every time I listen to it. So
Yeah.
That's because of the lack of editing.
Yeah, there's no editing. We're just lazy. Just lazy. And what about types of podcasts? Are you
different ones depending on my mood. Some like, I don't know, business stuff, membership stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I was listening to
right up
Mark.
Mark's
I was
street.
listening to
Membership
Mark.
stuff. What
from
are
last
these
week.
membership podcasts that you keep
Oh, you
talking
should-
about?
You need to sign up to them, Wyn. They're epic.
Yeah, I heard.
Right. What about you, Deb? Are you a podcast listener or music? What do you
I mean both. Like, I'm more music than podcast if I'm out, but I don't generally tend to listen to business podcasts. If I listen to a podcast, it'll be like a one on like serial killers or like cults or something like that. So not really a business podcast listener.
Yeah.
I'm now scared.
You should be scared.
Yes, picking up tips from a podcast. That's why I listen to like business podcasts to pick up tips. The fact you're listening to a serial killer murderer kind of podcast, I hope you're not picking up tips. That's what I'm saying.
It's a worry. So yeah, we established that Mark was listening to membership podcast last week. So
Lots of podcasts. I even listened to a podcast about creating online courses. And a few months ago, there was a certain individual on that podcast, wasn't there, Leila?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You popped up Leila Gharani talking about running a course business. I was like, boom, I'm listening to that.
there we go.
But you know, until this day, I still haven't listened to it. I just can't dare listen to it myself. My
Don't
cousin
listen to
found it. My cousin in the US, she found it. She texted me last weekend. She's like, "Oh, that was a great podcast." I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah.
And Giles hasn't got time to listen to podcasts because he's just on them all. So
You're just still a bit bitter because I am non-monogamous with you lot now. So.
official
Podcast.
adulterer, Giles Mail.
But as a topic I'm sure we will come on to, my other podcast is testing out AI tools, and we started testing out agents. And I know that's going to be a hot topic because it's been interesting. I'll just say that now.
Nice segue. Let's get into that, shall we? Before we're obviously going to have a little chat about MVP video 2 at some point today. Hence the special guests. The cast, apart from me, obviously. But I'd like to interview the cast of the video, so I can find out more about that. But let's talk the AI agents and Excel agent. In the brief pre-pod chat, Leila, you mentioned that you had opinions about Excel Agent.
Yes. So I was testing the agent mode this week, like more seriously this week. And at first, so it was very, very interesting. It's like a relationship started well and then it like turned. It's like,
The use of the
I
word
mean,
relationship
I'm
is,
happily married, but like I would assume it's like wait. Like if you're on Tinder or whatever, and then you see someone's profile pic, right? And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh wow, okay, this looks promising. And then you chat with them and they have all the right answers. And you're like, yeah, this is like great. This is really legit. Maybe one answer is a bit off, but you're like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And then you meet them in person and it's like a disaster. Like something is like missing there. Like there's some, and you just want to run away like from like Tinder altogether for a few weeks. That's how I feel.
is
with
this the
agent
underlying story of how you met Giles?
What?
Well, is
Swipe left, swipe left.
Should we reading between the lines? I'm not sure.
Also, I think generally when people meet me, there's way more than one thing that makes them go, oh, I'm not sure. They don't have to meet me in person.
I gave
to
it
reach
away.
that stage.
No, but okay, I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay, so we were in the team. I was having like a team meeting with my team, and I was telling them about agent mode, and I had just tested it out by telling agent mode to create a calendar, like our Excel Plus yearly calendar, where we can put in like what video we did on YouTube, like Instagram, like our content calendar, and then the name of the people on the team, and then who's off when, and so on. So I told it, like, I gave it this prompt to create that. So it did it. It was fine. Then I asked it, because what we have in our real calendar is like when a person is off, at the end, we have a column with all the names of the people that are off, that are away during that week, right? So we have to basically grab the name from the header. And so I told it to do that. And then it did it, but it came up with a really, really long and weird combination of functions. Like it was using, okay, let double X match, double choose calls, and then text join. Whereas in the version that we have, it's just a simple text join. That's all it is, a simple text join. So then I was discussing this with my team. I'm like, okay, but this is a crazy like function. And then Camille, who's our video editor, he was like, but for him, who's not familiar with Excel, he wouldn't care what function he gets as long as it works. Even if it looks crazy, he's not going to care. So, and if it fails later, then he would just give it to AI again to get one that works. So then I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he has a point, that, okay, fine. So then I decided to test it on real data, like on our data where we create dashboards. And then it was like, it was just rubbish. I realized like if I don't have data and I tell it to create sample data and then make something, it was much better. But if I have data and I want something from it, it did not work. And it cannot do slicers. At least in all the versions I tried, it couldn't insert a slicer. So I don't know what your take is from your side, guys.
I've got thoughts. Can I share mine?
Go.
Yeah, so we've done some testing of this now, and we've tested other financial modeling AI tools. So yeah, on the one hand, it's actually quite impressive when it works. Like it's the first tool that's kind of built the mechanics of a 3-statement model. But the first time we tried it, or Ian Schnorr tried it, it got things wrong. The second time, it got some of those things right. But the dangerous thing for me was it made it look good. So to your point, Leila, for anyone that doesn't know what they're really looking at, you would just look at that and go, oh, this looks perfect. Balance sheet balances, cool. Let's use that. And actually, when you dig into it, it's probably not right technically. So it feels like the most dangerous point in time right now where it's starting to do things that look pretty, but the detail's probably wrong in certain areas. But half the time it didn't work as well, which is really annoying.
Yeah. Have you guys?
You're going to end up
Right.
with spreadsheets with unnecessarily long formulas in them.
Yes,
Is what we're saying.
for now.
Yeah,
For now.
everything I tested had like combinations of like map, lambda, like formulas I would just resort to if there's no other way. But like in those cases,
Yeah.
a simple SUMIFS was going to do the job. So it's kind of like right now the main agent at work is the geek of geeks, like just doing major geeky formulas. So hopefully they will employ other agents that are not as
But
advanced or
I've found that with sort of all of the chat GPTs and things, especially, was that it can give you answers and then you ask it, is there a simple Power Query M code stuff? Is there a simpler method? Yes, here it is. And then it gives you it gives you 4 lines of code, and same thing with DAX and other things. So I guess agent mode's just going on that same thing. It's just like, unless you actually tell it, give me the simplest possible approach, it's not going to assume that you want that. You know, my experience has been agent mode hasn't worked at all for me. So I can't get it to do anything whatsoever. So again, there's some bugs going on. I don't know if it's an Australian thing or something, but have you played with it, Deb and Mark? Have you had a go yet?
I am actually, interestingly, in the middle of writing an AI course, so like an AI in Excel course. So I'm kind of halfway through that, and I got a frantic message the other day from somebody in my team like, oh, they've just released agents, can you just add that into the course? So I'm going to have to add a whole section on agents at the end. So I haven't really played around with it yet. I was just waiting until I get to that bit of the course. So this is interesting feedback. I'm now not looking forward to it.
I thought you'd sworn yourself off doing sort of co-piloty tutorials after you know,
I had,
UI changes and everything. And
it's because like whenever LinkedIn Learning come to me and want a course, it's always Copilot, and I'm just like, oh, because it has to be updated so frequently. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you can't keep flying backwards and forwards to California to update a course every couple of months. So it's just they're awkward courses to do because they just need to be, they go out of date so quickly, and then you get users sending you messages being like, oh, mine doesn't look like the course, and I'm like, well, it's not going to, because that course was 7 months ago, and you know, it's just a difficult course to do. So I don't like doing them, but I kind of have to.
do they want you to do courses for things that are in beta? Because that's
No, I mean, the Copilot course that I've done for LinkedIn was just a general one across all of the applications, so not just Excel. So it was just, but again, that's 7 months old. It was out of date within 2 weeks of me getting back. So now I have all of the equipment from LinkedIn here, so I'm going to need to go in and update that course. But yeah, they are a bit of a nightmare because they need to be updated so frequently.
Yeah. Have you played, Mark?
So I have played with it. I've got two main thoughts. One of which I think, because there's almost nothing worse than clicking a button or writing your prompt, clicking a button, and then just having to wait. And you sit there and you're waiting and you're waiting. And I remember there's a story. I think it was Houston Airport where people were complaining about how long it took the baggage to come. So they used to get a huge number of complaints about it takes too long to get baggage, etc., etc. So the airport tried as hard as they could to get the baggage from the plane to the carousel thing as fast as they possibly could. And apparently this didn't really reduce the complaints. So someone came up with an idea of, well, why don't we make the planes go as far, like the furthest gate we possibly can, and we make people walk as far as they possibly can. So therefore, people spent more time walking, and the baggage took the same time to the carousel, but the complaints went down because people had something to do. They weren't just hanging around waiting, doing nothing. And it's almost like that hanging around and doing nothing is the most painful thing you can do. So even when you go, you know, in the corporate world, you know, you've automated something used to take you 3 hours, and now you can click a button and it happens automatically in 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes are like, oh, seriously, this takes so long. I can't believe this. I wish I were doing something else. And you almost wish that you were doing that 3 hours again, just so you could have something to do. So I partly feel as if, because it takes quite a while to think through and reason through everything, I think people are going to end up just going, I'm just going to do it myself because I can't be bothered to wait, especially when you can't be bothered to wait to find out that it's not what you want. You're waiting around and your bag hasn't turned up. So I think there's a piece around the fact it takes so long means that people are just going to get fed up with it quite quickly. So that was my experience from watching a few people's videos. Bill Jelen did a video where he timed how long it took, and he played some songs and other things whilst waiting for this agent mode. It's quite an amusing video, but it's quite painful just to wait. But then when it comes out, the other issue that I find, and I've used it, and I asked for various financial models on things, and it came out, and then it suddenly occurred to me, I now have to audit this thing. Before I had the expertise, even if I'm using a VLOOKUP, even if I'm doing something simple, and whatever I've created comes out, fantastic. I know how this thing works. I'm comfortable with it. Now what comes out, I've now got to audit this, and all of those functions and formulas that it's used, how do I know that it still gives me the same answer as what it should give me? I then have to test it extensively, and then, well, what happens if I've got negatives? What happens if I've got this and those things? So it almost turns everyone into a model auditor, which means that your Excel skills actually have to go up to guarantee the fact that all those formulas do exactly what you think. If you've built something and all you've used is VLOOKUP, happy days. But when AI has built something and it's got a VLOOKUP and a choose cols and an X match and a whole load of other stuff, like, I now need to understand what all of these formulas do. So therefore, in theory, everyone's skill has to increase just to understand what agent mode has done. Unless, of course, you work in Leila's team, in which case it seems like you can be happy with anything. Yeah, I'll roll with it. Well, why care?
Be fine.
Can we click? Sorry, Leila, go for it.
Do you think like agent mode is good for beginners? Because who's the audience? Because I was thinking if this is for, let's say, I don't know, lawyers or professions who don't use Excel so much, they would use it. But then if they end up seeing all these lambdas and maps, what are they going to think about Excel? Like, how is that helping them?
And you need to know these if you need to troubleshoot them, you need to know how they work anyway. So if you're a complete beginner who maybe doesn't even know how a VLOOKUP works and it's spitting out these formulas, if there's something wrong with it, you're not even going to know where to start to troubleshoot it anyway. So I always feel with Copilot in Excel, it's like you need to have the knowledge in order to be able to use it. So I'm not sure how helpful it is for beginners. And the thing that I worry about is just the fact that I just feel like it's going to dumb everybody down. If people are just asking for, and not really thinking about what they're doing, they're not learning what these formulas are doing. They're not learning how to apply those formulas in different situations. They're just putting in a prompt, they're getting something out, they're copying and pasting it in. There's no learning going on there whatsoever. Yeah. So I feel like the skill level in Excel is going to sort of go down and down.
Yeah, agreed. I got caught out, not an Excel one, but a Copilot one. I got caught this week of not checking something, and it's a bit embarrassing. Not major, but it was basically testing postcodes, and there was sort of postcodes not getting mapped properly. So I just said to Copilot, what might be some reasons for these postcodes not being genuine? And it listed them out, and it said, oh, this is actually a university. This is a PO box. This is a university. This one should be fine. This is a PO box. Okay, and I checked the first couple, and I actually looked them up. It was right. Last three, the postcodes don't even exist. But it confidently just gave me this list, and I sent that off saying, oh, all these postcodes are broken. And it's like, oh, well, we've checked all these manually, and these three don't even exist. So, and then I felt like a bit like an idiot, right? So it's just, I fell into that trap of I got lazy, not checking what the AI was kicking out.
Yeah, so a couple of extra thoughts on that. So one of the other tests we did was just reviewing a model, and we purposefully put some errors in, and agent came back and very confidently, as it does, said, yes, this is the issue. Your cell here is linking to the wrong cell. And we looked at it and it was just lying. So we then had to go back and go, no, that's not true. And it went, oh, yes, sorry, that's not true. And you're like, okay. And the second point is, if we want a really good clickbait title for this, Mark literally just said, if somebody builds a financial model and they just use VLOOKUP, happy days. Can we use that as the title?
Good.
No, you should.
Please.
I've said things before on here, and it gets
Cut it
me boxed in. It gets me in trouble. I should not talk ever
I
again.
love it. Love it.
I know
Yeah.
people like agent mode, who like come into the room and give you the wrong information, but they're so confident about it that you believe them,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The other one that's cropped up, has anybody played with the autocomplete of formulas? That sort of AI
No.
completion?
I saw it on desktop, I think. Can it be? Was it already rolled out on desktop, or is it the web
I
only?
think it was web.
Okay, then maybe I was on the web. But I saw it and I was so annoyed because it was just like I wanted to do something completely different and it kept popping up and I was like, what the hell is this? I think I just closed my file after that.
Yeah. And then
No, annoying.
there's this concern as well about the sort of if every time you're typing a formula in, it's sending a query off to an LLM. And that happens for everybody in the world writing Excel formulas.
That's mad.
It's a lot of wasted energy and stuff for that's just churning through the data centers and using up more data centers and space and resources and everything else. It's just like, do we need it? Are we again, is it more trying to find problems for solutions that they've come up with? I don't know. It's just, I don't like it. It's making me quite uncomfortable now.
Yeah, Ken didn't hold back, did he?
Yeah, Ken Paul's a bit, leading the way on that as well. He's not happy with those, and I agree with him.
Totally agree with him.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts on any of the other AI stuff?
Because in all this, we need to be careful about the things that we compare, because often it's kind of the things where someone says, "Oh, it can build me this in 15 minutes," but yet, I mean, I can build junk in quicker than 15 minutes, right? It doesn't. It's when you actually build something, you have the knowledge that it works. It's to your standards. It contains the things you need. It excludes the things that you don't need. So we need to make sure that when we're comparing this, it's not just, hey, it builds it in 10 minutes. It builds it. How adaptable is it? How long does it then take you to change it into the thing you actually wanted? They're the things we also need to capture in terms of testing and time, because I said I can build junk very quickly. It doesn't even take 15 minutes. But to change that junk into something that is exactly what you want, it behaves what you want, it does what you want, that's the comparison in terms of time. And also, if it can't ever achieve what you want, then ultimately that time is just wasted, because you've spent all that time, hey, look, I've got here fast. That's great, but you can't get to where you want from here. So it's just, I think it's just a lot of hype around the fact it can create things quickly. But if that's not what we want, then it's almost like we would prefer something that is quick but wrong over something that is slower but correct.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then it's called wipe working. I mean, did you see this phrase being used?
Working.
And I was like I was imagining myself, like if I have a new job and my boss is introducing me to the team, is like, hi, this is Leila. She's our wipe worker. It's like, that was very offensive.
Yeah. I was just, what have you been doing this morning, Win? Oh, just a bit of vibe work.
Vibing.
Just like, which is basically code for, just typing stuff in and seeing what sticks, just basically. I've just been mashing keys and hoping something, productive comes up, really. Just not learning.
Yeah. And I think now we're getting, now people are starting to hype this up in, for example, the financial modeling world. Financial models, the people that are building full financial models, you can't afford to vibe. Like it has to be right, especially when you get into big project finance deals or, acquisitions. You can't have it 90% right. It has to be 100% right. So I saw this on a post, which Microsoft, then I'll probably get myself de-MVP'd, but Microsoft were then all over it and sharing it. And it's like, wait, vibe financial modeling. And I'm sitting there going, oh God, this is going to cause disasters all over the place if we're not careful.
do you not feel like there's just this obsession with doing everything as fast as possible?
Yeah.
With quickness. I don't understand like why everything has to be like we need to find the absolute quickest way of doing everything, even if it's not the best way, even if it's slightly wrong, as long as it's quick, that trumps everything. That's kind of what it feels like with a lot of these things.
I had a chat with Puneet from Excel Champs a while ago about AI and the use of AI, and I might have said this on the podcast before, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. He made the point about in like technologies, like as they've developed, they have increased certainty. So when watches were invented, they increased the certainty over time. When databases came along, it increased the certainty about your transactions. Then AI has come along, and we've gone, hey, we're happy. We're now happy with uncertainty, which is not the way any technology or anything has developed previously. So actually, his point was we should really just be thinking about how do we use these tools to build certainty, which means that a lot of the generative stuff around agent mode, actually, that's probably not the ideal use because it's building something from scratch. What we really want is a process, a method that we build up, we can test, we can approve. And therefore, once you've built that, you go, hey, this is going to run exactly the same time every time. That's what we actually should be thinking about in terms of how do I make something that is consistent? Because once you've got something that is inconsistent, it just causes more work. And I think because in terms of financial modeling, there are tools that exist that are based on logic, that will give you, when you say you want to add a debt schedule, whatever it is, it will consistently add a consistent debt schedule, the same layout, the same thing every time. It's based fully on logic, but instead people actually I prefer something that is based on probability. Probability says that this is the most likely thing that I want, and I think that is a completely different mindset from something that's logical. So I think rather than vibe code, was it vibe working? I think we should call it prompt bingo. That would be a much better term. Prompt bingo. Let's type it in. Let's see what comes out. Let's try again.
Yes.
Let's keep going. Eventually,
I'm going to name one of my lessons in my AI course prompt bingo.
Prompt bingo. That's great. Prompt bingo.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So let's change tack. Let's talk MVP video 2. Okay. So for those of you who are out running, listening to this podcast, Giles, can you just do a synopsis, 30 seconds of what the video entailed? For everybody else, there'll be a link in the show notes for you to click and go and watch. But Giles, do you want to give a quick?
Yeah, so this was MVP music video 2. The first one was a year ago, and Deb, I posted about this the other day. Deb crazily I was like, do you want to be in a music video? And she's like, yeah, cool. What are we doing? Turned up and it was great. And then this year was like, okay, how do we take this to a crazy level? Bring Deb back. I'd hassled Mark before and he said no. So I managed to convince Mark. And then I had the wacky idea that it would be the funniest thing in the world to have Leila show me up. And I think I texted you first, Leila, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And I must have said like 3 times in the text, if it's a no, that's completely understandable. And it wasn't a no. And then we met at the Global Excel Summit and I had this, you don't know this, Leila, but I had like a speech ready. I was like, this is the best speech. Nobody's not going to say no by the end of this. And I walked up to you and I was like, so this video, you're like, yeah, cool. I'm in. What do we do? And I was like, oh.
Oh no, I missed the speech.
What about my speech? And that was it. So the video is me being my cocky alter ego, but very quickly being shown up by Leila. And the song is the greatest MVP in the world, which is worth us probably caveating. Nobody thinks they're genuinely the greatest MVP in the world. But it was about putting me in my place. And it was a lot of fun. I think we could all say that.
So, can we hear the speech? Can we hear the speech? We want to hear the speech.
Next time.
Next. It's too long. Many layers to the speech.
So what were the logistics of it? All happened on one day, one afternoon, and you had like dancing, bands, kids choir, all sorts.
No. The dancers had a rehearsal half day with my sister. Deb and Mark traveled a long way by train for 2. Well, we were there for 3 nights, weren't we? Mark for 2. Leila flew in from Vienna. So we had 3 nights together in a hotel. It was like this is what we all hoped, like Miles and I hoped anyway, was the 5 of us just got to hang out and have dinner together. Cool. And, it was a lot of work. The 2 days of filming were long. It was really surreal. But yeah, I feel like I'm talking about it too much. I should pass over to other people that were there.
And I think if I remember, the temperature was like 32, 33 degrees. They were like some of the hottest days of the year so far.
Yeah.
Well, we're now October. It's not going to get any hotter, is it? But the hottest days of the year, and then there's Giles prancing around in his white jacket and fur coat. So it was
later in a cape, like probably the hottest thing you could put on anyone. A huge fur cape. It's mad.
Was there any point in the process, Leila, where you thought, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. When wasn't there a point?
Or how is this going to go down? How is this going to go over with people?
I was like, okay, it's too late. I'm here. I can't go back. It's happening.
It's good.
But Giles, do you remember the scare we had with my
oh my God,
ETA? That was like because they changed the rules. So usually we don't need to have any visa or any visa waiver program thing from Austria to the UK, but it was introduced in April. So just a few months before 2 months, just 2 months before I flew over, and it just had escaped me because I was there for the global summit and everything was fine then. So then it was on Sunday and I wanted to check in online, and then it said like, make sure you have your ETA thing. I was like, what are they talking about? And then I looked and it said, it's a requirement, you need this. So then I was like shaking because I called Giles. I think I called you after I did the application because I was flying like the next day, right? And then I had to download the app. I took the picture. I did the whole thing. I had to scan your passport. And then I got the email. We will let you know within the next few working days. If we don't contact you by the end of next week, then contact us, but don't contact us before. And I was like, shh. And then I called Giles. I was like, Giles, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then after I hanged up. Yes. Yeah. I mean, and you pay like, I don't know, 19 euros or 20 something euros. So it's like in the US. Where we have to apply for the ESTA. This is the ETA. But then right after I hanged up with Giles, then I looked at my email and it said, you've been approved. So it was an automatic thing that came back. So I was like, oh my God.
Is that just Austria and the UK, or is it every country in Europe now that you have to?
I think it's Europe.
It's Europe. Yeah, I think it's Europe. But there was a 5-minute period. So Leila called me at like 8 a.m. on the Sunday. You were going to fly over on the Monday, and I could tell you were panicked straight away. And you're like, "Oh my God, Giles, I can't believe this! Like, there's a visa. I might not be able to be there." And I remember in my head, I was like, "Okay, stay calm." I was like, "Leila, do you know what? What will be will be. Let's see what happens." Put the phone down. I'm like, Miles, she might not be here. Oh God, what are we going to do? It was just like, and then 5 minutes later, you call back. You're like, it's fine, it's come through. I was like, oh God, okay, we're all good. So, yes, good fun.
And Mark, were you actually playing that guitar?
So, I mean, officially, I was playing a guitar. Yes, it was neither plugged in nor were they the correct notes. But that's not the point. I was there to mime at playing a guitar, which I can mime playing a guitar, and I think the facial expressions gave the impression that I could actually play guitar.
Natural.
100%.
Now the break dancing, on the other hand, I think it's safe to say that was definitely me.
Officially announced now. You confirmed it. The rumor's true.
How did you end up wearing the same thing? That's the question.
That's what all breakdancers wear. That's us. That's our standard outfit. Red t-shirt, dark shorts, some Vans, and that's what you need. And you just need, if you haven't naturally got blonde hair, you have to dye it. You have to dye it slightly blonde. Although I think mine is predominantly grey now rather than blonde. But there we go. So yes, no, the breakdancer was not me. But for a few microseconds, people are like, is that Mark?
Even my husband was like, "Oh, so Mark is also the
And the video came out on the Tuesday, and then the next day I then hurt my back. Now I'd like to say it's because I was of my breakdancing. You see, it's all that energy and all, the dangerous moves I'm pulling off on a day-to-day basis. The truth is I hurt it while sitting down, which isn't quite as exciting, but I can't break dance.
And Deb, was it one take for your delivery of lines?
It was a few sort of separate takes. But I was just
Okay.
happy I had a speaking role this year, because last year I was pretty much limited to like a wink and some clapping. And I think I was dancing in one bit, but completely mute throughout the whole of like MVP video 1. So the fact that I got to open the whole thing with like one line, I was happy with that. With that. And then I spent the rest of the day kind of helping Leila decide which one of the dresses that she was going to wear, the more risque one or the one we went with, and drinking coffee. And it was very nice.
Okay.
It was great, and thank you again to all three of you for doing it, because it is mad. So yeah, I'm really proud of what we came out with.
Seem to have lots of good old feedback on LinkedIn and places, Giles.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a few blunt tags to me saying give Deb more time next time. So if there is a 3, obviously you're all committed contractually now forever. So if there is
my
a 3,
fan club is out in force.
we'll have to get you. Maybe you'll sing next time, or we just stop here and I accept that we have peaked. That is it. 2 is enough.
No, there's the rumor, Giles. There's the rumor.
You've heard the bee rumor.
Yeah, the Bora Bora rumor. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard that from several sources now on several posts by me on LinkedIn. I think that's almost a done deal. That's what everyone's expecting now. If it's anything less than that, the people are just going to be disappointed, and you don't want to disappoint your fans.
I do, but I also don't want to be broke for the rest of my life. So Microsoft is going to have to step in and sponsor the next one, because, that's going to be painful but fun. I'm up for it.
Plus, assuming given Deb had a speaking role, she gets commission every time it's played. Now, isn't that how it works?
Yep. Good. That's right.
Just so we clarified.
I would say as we were hanging around, right, there was a green room, and you could go in the green room, and Miles and Giles had been like, their hospitality was fantastic, right? There was crisp, there was as almost anything you wanted to drink, and there was a box of strawberry cables, and literally I turned up and I was like, I can't believe it. This is fantastic. So over the next day and a half, they went down exceptionally quickly. I limited myself to 10 at a time, because I was like, I don't want to be seen to be too greedy. So if I was ever seen, so at most I'd ever have 10 in my hands, and then I'd just go back and get some more. But then in Giles's behind the scenes video, if you listen carefully, there is me walking through going, "Oh, awesome! There's strawberry laces." Is that all I'm about? Have I been exposed with my that's yeah.
Another picture of you eating them.
I know.
Post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and equally, what did I do? I got the whole box of strawberry laces and I offered them around to everyone, but I still kept hold of the box myself. You see, it's like, Deb, would you like one? Would you like one strawberry lace? I'll take care of the box to make sure you don't drop them.
Oh, it was good. It was good.
Good.
But Win, how about your reaction video?
Yeah, it was sort of, to be honest, that took me way longer than it ever should have. Probably took me as long as it did to film your thing. I have to edit it about 10 times. But yeah, bit of fun, you know?
What did you edit? Your reaction?
Yeah, I just sort of, I watched the whole video and then did my reaction to it. Then realized I hadn't switched my microphone on. Then watched it again, reacted again, and then I thought, oh, actually, there's a lot of me just sitting here not doing a lot, even though I'm just doing, smiling here and there, because it was the second time I'm watching it. And then I just sort of cut the video to start to finish.
I saw that. It was just black, and then it was the you.
It was my third go, so it was just like, yeah, just get it done. I should have been doing other stuff, but there we go. But good, enjoyed it. Very good. Well done, Giles.
Thank you.
Right, what else are we chatting about? Oh, let's do a quick question of the week, even though it's sort of not really got a proper question of the week, but here we go. Let's get a little jingle going. So I think we deserve accordions.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week. It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week.
So the question of the week is, what are we going to ask Deb and Leila? Okay, so my first question.
You going to turn the music off, or are you just going to keep that
going? I've lost the button now. Where is it?
There we go.
That's better.
Right. I've got a question, which wasn't on the list of questions that I had, but LinkedIn Learning. So, Deb, you've done a few courses, and you just mentioned you've got Kit there. Mm-hmm. Leila, have you done LinkedIn Learning?
One course.
Okay. And
yeah, it's not recorded there. It was actually, it's a part of our bigger course that we published to LinkedIn Learning.
Okay. Because there is that, so there is that thing of you go to LinkedIn Learning to record stuff, mm-hmm. but also they can send you stuff and you record from home.
No, actually, we didn't use their stuff. It was just already recorded.
Okay. So you just
they accepted it.
They do like a license thing.
Good enough already. But you've got so Leila, you've got like proper studio and producer and everything anyway, haven't you, for all your stuff?
Yeah, I guess the quality is fine. It's like you guys. You guys have great quality as well.
But you've gone from accountant to like proper YouTube training. You've got all the proper lighting and equipment and kit and all that stuff. Is that in your house, or have you got a separate studio, or?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be in the cellar of our house.
Okay. Right.
But that was like the first few years. And then right now where I am, it's a studio. It's a separate apartment. That's like a 7-minute walk from my home. Oh, okay. And it's basically just for this.
Yeah.
It's where I work as well every day.
Okay. So it's like office away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then your stuff, Deb, you've been to LinkedIn Learning in, mm-hmm. Where are they based?
They are based in a tiny little place called, I think you say Carpinteria. It's called, it's near Santa Barbara.
Right.
But it's like a tiny little town in kind of like the middle of nowhere. But yeah, it's kind of, I went out there last year to record the co-pilot course. And it's really nice out there. Everybody was like so friendly, and it's a bit weird though, because you go in and you don't really see anybody. It's like nobody works there. Like you walk around and there's just barely any people. The only time you see anybody is like if you go into like the cafeteria area. But I found the process of recording at LinkedIn difficult. Simply because I feel like it's almost geared towards people who have never recorded anything before, like people who are maybe brand new to recording courses. I think if you're used to doing like your own recording, your own editing, all of that kind of stuff, you find it more difficult because you go into the booth and you start recording your course and you have a producer listening in on what you're saying.
Right.
So, and it's all recorded live. So you can't stop, you can't make mistakes. If you make a mistake, you have to then talk through your mistakes so the editor knows what to edit out. So like if you make a mistake while you're doing it, you have to say stop, go back 5 seconds, blah blah blah, edit this out, and then carry on. It's really difficult to record, because I'm just used to making as many mistakes as I like and then just editing them out, you know, when I do the video. But you can't do that, and because you've got somebody sitting there just listening to you the entire time, it feels quite pressurized in a way.
Yeah, I bet.
And because I was recording a Copilot course, it was an absolute nightmare, because obviously I'd prepped for it, but then Copilot doesn't play ball, because I would type in the same prompt twice and get completely different answers each time. So, you know, I'd planned the course to go this way, but then if I make a mistake and I have to type the same prompt again, it's going to spit out a different answer, which means now I have to kind of modify on the fly. It was an absolute nightmare to record that course. So I wasn't particularly keen on the whole process of recording at LinkedIn Learning, but the actual people who work there and everything, everybody's absolutely lovely. And it was a good experience to go there and see it. The ones I've done recently, they've sent me the equipment. I have the equipment here now, and I've been recording, like, you can see that LinkedIn are trying to kind of go for the more TikTok style thing at the moment. So they've got me recording lots of like things like what they're calling nano tips, which are all the vertical formats, quick tips, things like that. And also they've had conversations with me about licensing some of my content, which I'm guessing is kind of what they do with you, Leila.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you so?
Um,
Leila, so you, and I guess with Mark and Giles as well. Do you edit your own content? Well, you used to, but not anymore. Oh, you guys, I guess. Mark and Giles, do you edit your own stuff?
Go for it.
Right, source it.
Generally, yes. At various times, I might have a video editor. So if I know if I know I'm doing a course and it's going to be quite a long course, then even just creating that content, I'll normally just record it, and then I might hire somebody to then edit that content. But it is my ability, as soon as that camera goes on, my ability to string a sentence together hits about 3%. And it just, even now I can't string a sentence together. You see, this is the problem. In real life, I can't even finish a sentence. Imagine a video when it's meant to be polished. So for courses, I have had a video editor in the past just to get through the volume of stuff. Because when you think you might have 120 videos to create and edit, and when you can't string a sentence together, then there's quite a lot of editing to go on. So do you have to do that? Do you have to do that sort of thing that Deb was talking about? We're just like actually giving the editor instructions to say, okay, break that bit or forget that last 5-minute segment. None of that worked. Or no. So normally I would, every time I make a mistake, I clap my hands. So then you get an audio spike.
Okay.
And then they can look on the audio every time I make a mistake. And therefore you can then cut, and then I have to repeat the same sentence as I've just said, or what I think I've just said, I hope I've just said, and then hopefully they can then cut it in naturally so it sounds like that's actually the thing. But sometimes you don't say the words you think you've said. And so occasionally my video editor he'll send me a thing, goes, can you just say this sentence? So I'll say the same sentence like 5 or 6 times, and then he'll splice it in hopefully a way that sounds like I never, because like, instead of saying the word column, you said the word transition, or you wear
a blue jumper rather than a red t-shirt.
Yes. So it's kind of like just say this sentence, and I will record myself saying that sentence several times with different, just like your introductions, Win, about welcome to Unpivot, and you emphasize different words because I'm not sure about which sentence will sound best with what I said 2 weeks ago when I recorded it, and then you get spliced in so that it's there on YouTube. I don't tend to worry as much because it's kind of like that's kind of the free content. Although sometimes, if you look on my recent videos, my mouth might say one word, but the audio says something else. I thought, I can't leave that word in there. I'm on screen, right? I'm on screen. I thought, I can't have that wrong word in there. It just sounds wrong. So my mouth will say a different word to the word that comes out. And I'm like, if anyone notices, I don't know.
good.
Interesting. And I do my own at the moment. So I'm rebuilding a course now. I use Camtasia. It's a bit like the conversation about AI, actually. I think at the stage I'm at, it would probably take way more effort for me to actually get somebody else up to speed. I'm sure eventually it completely makes sense to do that, but I know exactly what I want to record. Most of it, I've done the to camera bits, that's fine, but I'm in the spreadsheets, and like you said, Deb, I muck up all the time.
Yeah.
And it is just a case of going, right, I'm putting enough little pauses in quite regularly, almost without thinking of it now. So you can go, okay, I need to do that sentence again. The annoying thing is when your mouse isn't in the right place, you're like, oh God. So what I do now is when I've mucked up and my mouse is somewhere, before I start talking, I do this with my mouse on the screen in an area. And then when I edit it, somewhere within that range, it will be where the mouse was. And it just about works.
You know, in Camtasia, you can check. There's a box you can check so that it automatically moves your mouse to the same spot, or also you can change the path.
Why didn't you tell me that 6 months ago?
You can also hide the mouse.
That I was doing
you
for a
can
while.
hide the
Yeah.
mouse.
Okay.
And also
Yeah, there's the smoothing, right? The smoothing.
Smoothing,
and also on the latest, I think it's the latest version. It might be the one before, but if you pause your recording, you can then go and do anything else you like. When you unpause your recording, it automatically sends your mouse back to exactly the same point as you were. So when you mess up, I've got mine set to F7 as being pause recording, because I think it's actually F9, which doesn't help you in Excel, because if you press F9 for something, it pauses your recording. So reading that to F7 means you can pause, and when you unpause, the mouse goes straight back to the same point.
Nice.
So this feels like that moment a few weeks ago when I was complaining about the Mac not having a delete key because I hadn't bothered to research it for 3 years. And then I found out on the episode that you just hold the FN key and press backspace. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'll start doing all of those things. Thanks very much.
Leila, how did you find it, like handing over control to people to edit your stuff?
Very difficult. It took a long time. I was editing after their editing, so
you were re-editing what they'd done.
Yeah. So the first editor we had, or I had hired, I would let them edit, but then I would take their edits and then edit it again. So the whole process became much longer than if I had just done it myself. But I was thinking, well, the right thing to do is to outsource this thing.
Yeah.
Just like we're doing with AI, right? And then we end up doing more work at the end.
Yeah.
But then I found the editor that we have right now. And at the beginning, the process was, I was trying not to edit. So I was like, okay, whatever happens, I will not edit their edited version, but I will tell them what needs to be fixed. So that was very time consuming because it's easier to edit it than to write it all up.
Yeah.
So, but it was important because we went through that for a few months, maybe even a year. And right now we're at the stage that I don't need to do anything. I don't need to clap. I don't need to do anything. I'll just do it. And then he knows exactly what to cut and what not. I mean, he's probably become an Excel expert by now.
Has he also learned your way?
Hand over editing, too controlling. Like I have people doing pretty much everything else. So like doing the reference guides and all of the surrounding materials other people are doing. But when it comes to the editing, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to give it up. Too much of a control freak.
Yeah, I thought like that as well. But then when it costs you so much time.
Yeah, I know it does. Yeah.
I think Oz went through that journey as well.
To be fair, Leila, you've I mean this in the kindest way, you've kind of dug your own grave, right? Because originally, right, YouTube videos were just faceless things. Nobody presented anything. Then you come along, hey, let's put my face on the camera and let's actually present, which therefore makes the editing go from not a lot to a huge amount. And therefore, you create these high quality videos and now everyone else will be like, well, I've got to create a high quality video as well, which means you then get, my video's got to be higher quality than their quality. So therefore, I kind of think you're to blame for all of the editing time that we all now waste.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the kindest way. It's all your fault.
It sounded really kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that
Yeah.
vibe.
It's,
Yeah.
We're all going to give it to AI soon, so it's okay.
Yeah. We saw a two creating all the content. So
AI Mark. That's who will
Yeah.
have presented the course soon.
Yeah, Mark.
A few months ago, I did look into if I could AI, you know, because you can get your AI avatars. So if I do that, that means, you know, I don't have to worry about not being able to complete a sentence because AI Mark will be able to complete every sentence that I give him in written form. And then I kind of researched it and I was like, you know what? All these AI people don't look like real people. They don't move in the right way. So no, you're just going to have to put up with me stumbling over sentences still.
mad. Then I wanted to ask as well, you sort of, Deb, you mentioned about like the LinkedIn wanting the sort of new TikTok-y style format of things.
Mhm.
Is that where people are going now? Is that, I guess, for both, I guess, Deb and Leila, and you know, Giles is on TikTok as well now. So Giles, does the volume of content taking off there compared to YouTube, or what gets the most attention?
I don't think you can even compare TikTok with YouTube. Completely different platforms,
Right.
completely different audiences. I feel like, I mean, companies like LinkedIn and Microsoft, they always want to kind of do whatever is popular at that time, you know. So you definitely saw a shift when TikTok started to become a thing, of people like Microsoft coming to me and saying, oh, we want vertical content now, you know. LinkedIn brought in the vertical videos, you know. So everybody's kind of gone that way, the short form content way, consuming content on the go on your mobile phone. And as I've spoken about previously, one stream of my business has been to basically sell or license my TikTok library to businesses. And it's licensed and sold as mobile training on the go. You know, with this, you can do it anywhere on your phone, that kind of thing. So I think it's just the thing at the moment. I'm sure like in a couple of years, there'll be a new platform where, you know, people go onto that and then everybody will want to do that. It just goes in waves, you know, but YouTube's always going to be popular, but for the longer videos.
But there's YouTube Shorts as well now, so I guess they've trying to compete to some extent. But
the annoying thing is they make it so difficult for you to cross post your content across different platforms, because each platform that does a vertical video format, so things like Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all of the videos are the maximum times like different lengths. So like I generally tend to record quite long videos on TikTok in comparison to most people, but I can't then just take that and put it on Instagram Reels because it's too long, and it's too long for YouTube Shorts. So then I have to make like secondary versions, or I should just do shorter videos, but that's not really my selling point on TikTok.
yeah. But so Leila, are you doing dedicated like sort of, you know, vertical content now, or is it just sort of it gets chopped up by the editor based on your sort of standard content?
Yeah, we did shorts when shorts came out on YouTube. So we did dedicated shorts. But then I didn't like it. I didn't like,
The same. I don't like it.
like, I don't know. I just couldn't fit. And at the time it was 60 seconds. I was like, I'm just getting dumber and dumber. Like if I like, what can I say? By the time I'm saying hello, whatever, like, and I realized, okay, you're not supposed to say hello, whatever. Like you're just supposed to say this. It was just like too much. So I was like, I'm going to stop this YouTube shorts. And I just preferred the long form. And that was when we did so our editor tried to cut from the long form to shorts, but those don't perform well.
Right.
So whichever ones we did, I think they're just very, very few that actually performed well. And then now I just went back to creating like these shorts for the 40th birthday, where we were like releasing a few.
Yeah.
So I did 3 shorts, but these were like just for that, and they actually performed well. Yeah. So it's, for me, the shorts part it's so difficult to figure out like how to grab that person within the first 3 seconds, they say is really important in shorts. So I mean, you just have to like, I don't know, shock them, do something, and it's I don't know. I feel like I'm beyond that. Like I don't know what the audience is thinking, if the audience is young or old, or how should I shock them? And there's like not so many different ways you can shock someone. Like there's like only so often I can say this is a game-changing thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We
Well,
love
Giles'
game changer
favourite.
here.
Giles' favourite. I can't
Yes.
believe my boss did this.
The thing I
It is
found though
always-
is on platforms
Revolutionary.
Love
like TikTok. One of the things that I found when I first started posting on TikTok, because it was always known as like a short form platform, and the only people posting Excel stuff on there were doing these super quick tips, like under 30 seconds. And I went on there and I was doing these really long videos, like 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long. And like for the first like couple of months, the comments were just awful. Like, this is too long for TikTok. You should go back to YouTube, blah, 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 blah. But then those people like disappear. And then you get all these people who are like, oh, I really appreciate you explaining this in detail, instead of it just being like flashed around the screen. And so it's almost like long form content that I'm putting on a short form content platform, which if TikTok is your platform of choice, people are enjoying that. And I think that's why my account grew so quickly. It was because everybody was doing these really, really short tips. And I was actually doing like a full on 10-minute training session, which at the time wasn't on there.
Yeah.
Which I find quite interesting.
One thing I spotted last week, I don't know if this has always been a thing, I've just never realized, but I didn't think you used to be able to flip your phone sideways on TikTok and get a full 16:9. I thought it was always, but have you always been able to do that? And I just never tried. So like if you post 16:9 sort of content, because I watched Giles's video on TikTok, the MVP video. And it was small, so then I thought, I'll just turn my phone, and I thought, that doesn't work, but then it did, and I got a full screen. Has that always been?
Oh, I didn't know that. You can turn your. Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm thinking, why don't I just post my normal YouTube videos on TikTok? Because the reason I didn't used to, because it was too small to actually see the screen. But if you can just rotate the phone and it works.
But it's part of the answer that 90% of people won't even want to go through that level of effort to turn their phone.
Probably.
Yeah.
Could be the case.
They can move the thumb. They can move their thumb up and down, but turning it, no way.
Turning is too much.
Yeah. Swipe.
Broken wrists.
What a world.
Right, folks. I think we are coming up to time. Is there any other pressing news that we want to cover off? Anything anybody else wanted to mention? Any events coming up? What's coming up?
Bulgaria.
Okay.
Co-hosting with Oz. That's gonna be good. So you've got people like Ken, Alan, Mark. You're there. You're presenting, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. So that'd be good. Might have some surprises for your introductions. Wait and see.
No.
Oh, there's some preliminary speakers announced for May for the Excel Global Summit on their website now. So I'm on that. So there we go. I'll be flying over to the UK next year. Looking forward to that. Hopefully catch up with a bunch of you folks as well. So Giles, if you want to do MVP video 3 around about, May.
Let your ambassador for Global Excel Summit. That's right. Is that the case? Yeah. So I think we'll all be there.
Excellent. That'll be good.
Sure.
That'll be good.
Cool.
But otherwise, again, thank you very much, special guests, Deb and Leila.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you joining us. And great job on the MVP video 2. To be continued.
Very much. To be continued.
All right, folks. So thank you, everybody. And we'll catch everybody next time. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.